Hello everybody, it's been a while since I did a video kind of update, so I thought I would do one today. So since I can't remember the last video I did, after Edinburgh maybe? So that was in March, so now we're in July. And since I was away, since my last video, I've had two designs come out. So I thought... So the first one is the jumper which I finished actually quite a while ago, and I wore it to Edinburgh. So it took me a bit longer to get it all figured out, but I did eventually get it done. So this is the Ola yoke. So it's just kind of traditional Shetland yoke with a kind of tree and star. And what I did a bit different was the background is the same as the kind of main colour, so the yoke really stands out. And I was really pleased with the feedback I got after, even when I was wearing it in Edinburgh and afterwards. So there's been quite a lot of people buying it, so it's good. I did it in 2-ply jumper weight from Jimson Smith, and this main colour is 81, which is like a charcoal, very dark grey, and then it's got kind of blues and whites and yellows and oranges in the yoke. And I'm going to be making another one for one of my friends that's just going to be 2 colours, so I'm quite looking forward to seeing how it looks, because I think it'll look quite different just in 2 colours. I did keep, when I was doing, I did some kind of, sometimes I do this, I do a bit of like swatching on my knitting machine for things, and this was when I was like wondering about doing a 2-colour one. So I just do like the main motif, but to make sure that my kind of planned decreasing and stuff for the yoke worked out, then I just did a little swatch like this, which is just, it's just one kind of repeat of the pattern, and you can do that, and I just break the yarn at both ends and then kind of tie it afterwards. And then for getting gauge, for doing your gauge, then you can measure this, because you're breaking it every side. It's like you're knitting in the round. So yes, so that's the Ola yoke. So you can get that on Ravelry. And I also have done another jumper pattern which just came out about 3 weeks ago, maybe, something like that. And that's the Vatland jumper, which is just a plain kind of raglan jumper with lace on the bottom, and it's cropped sleeves and cropped body, but I'm really pleased with that one. And this is done in Brooklyn tweed shelter, which I bought. I think some of this is the ones I bought from when I was in Edinburgh, and I have actually, not that long after I finished that one, I started another one. I've not really gotten too far with it though, but I'm doing another one in greys, which I think is going to be a lot more subtle. Like the lace is going to be more kind of shaded. Maybe you can see. So I've not got too far on that, but hopefully I will. And for that one, the main colour was quite like that 81 that I used for the, this is like a very dark charcoal. I think it's called Soot. And I usually, the Brooklyn tweed yarn is kind of harder to get in the UK, so I buy it from Loop London, and it usually always comes really fast, usually in like a day or 2 days. And apart from that, I've not been doing too much knitting. I kind of had a bit of a slump for a little while, but I think I'm getting back in the game. So one thing I made was, actually when I was in Edinburgh, there was this yoke on eBay and I had bidded on it, but I must have been busy or something. Anyway, I didn't get it, and I quite often, if there's something I really like, then I save a picture just kind of for inspiration and stuff. And this yoke, I just couldn't get it out of the head, and I just kept thinking about it. And then the more I looked at the pictures, I was like, I could just make that. And it was just this simple, really simple Shetland yoke, but there was something that was kind of a bit different there. So anyway, this is it. So I just, it's kind of crumpled because it's been folded up. I machine knit the body and sleeves, and then hand knit the yoke. And yeah, what was kind of different about it was the kind of transition into the yoke was quite unusual, and I just couldn't stop thinking about it. But it's just in natural colours. This main colour it's all jumper weight. This main colour is shade 5, and then it's just kind of the other natural. My hair's get everywhere. Other kind of natural colours. So yeah, I was really pleased with that, and what I ended up doing was just having it as kind of A-line. I did it a bit longer than I usually do, and I just put like 5 buttons at the top, so it kind of sits quite nicely, if I do say so myself. So yeah, that was that yoke, so I was very pleased with that. And something I just finished, which I actually it took me I think it took me about 3 hours probably to machine knit the pieces, and then about an hour and a half probably to finish to do the neck rib, and then about 2 hours probably finish sewing up and everything. But it's a So Faded jumper by Andrea Mowry, and when I seen it on Ravelry when it came out, I loved it, but I was like, I'm never gonna hand knit a jumper in like 4-ply. The whole thing, like, because although it's like it fades through different colours, you can put as many colours as you want and everything, without a bit of Fair Isle or something, then it just my attention, I would have gotten probably to here and never done the bonnet sleeves. So it took me a bit of fiddling, and I had to do a bit of swatching, because I keep buying lovely speckled yarn from Hedgehog Fibres and Madeline Tosh and places like that, because I love the way they look, and then I never do anything with them, and I only buy like one of a certain colour, and it's just not enough to do anything with. So this pattern is perfect, because for my size anyway, it used less than a ball of 4 colours, and I did 3/4 length sleeves just because I wasn't sure how the yardage would kind of figure out, but it worked in fine, and I could have done long sleeves, I think, if I had needed to. But actually the colour I have at the top, I did have 2 of, so I could have, anyway. But this is it. So it's the So Faded jumper. There's 2 ends that haven't been woven in at the end, so they're hanging there, but so I absolutely love it. It's so not my normal kind of thing at all, but I just love it. I think because I love the yarn so much. Like, this top one is Madeline Tosh, the Radness, I think, and then that's a Hedgehog Fibres one, and then that's another Madeline Tosh, and then that's another Hedgehog. The second one is probably my least favourite. I find it stands out a little bit too much, but the fade into, and like in the pattern you do like 1 row of one colour over 10 rows, I think, but because on the knit machine I was breaking it at every side. If you're just doing 1 row, you have to break it at one side, take it over, break it, take it over. So I just faded it over 4 rows because I figured the colours were very like the fade was quite subtle, especially like in person, like they fade really well together. And yeah, so this is my first experience of like this kind of knitting with this kind of wool, and it knitted really well on the machine because it's quite strong and it's so soft. So, but I'm also very pleased with my my kind of machine knitting. Look at that raglan, that looks pretty good. Because I did like proper, what are they called? Fully fashioned decreases. So yeah, I love it, and I have absolutely loads of those kind of yarns I keep. My kind of downfall is especially, I mean, I like those like white ones with speckles, is really my favourite, and I have quite a lot of these. It's going to be looking a bit more yellow than it is. It's kind of Madeline Tosh ones with speckles is kind of my downfall, but so I'm glad now that there's something I can make with them. And I would love to make a cardigan, but I don't think you could because of the whole thing. But anyway, yeah, so I was really pleased with that, and I think I probably will make another one. And I've kind of been better again for not buying stuff. I've kind of been concentrating on my design work and getting those kind of things done. So, but I do have a few books which I've gotten, and this just came out this weekend. I don't think you can buy it online anywhere yet, but you will be able to soon. But it's a booklet that's been done by the Walser Heritage Centre about their Fair Isle exhibition, which I did. Yeah, I did. They had it. It was on last year, and then they kept it on and kind of changed it a little bit, and I've kept it on again this year. And it's such a good exhibition because I've said before, like the knitters in Walser, which is one of the islands in Shetland that you have to get a ferry to get to, and their knitting is just amazing, and the exhibition is so good. I did a blog post last year and this year about go and see it, but that's like, you can kind of see that's like half of the room, and it's just absolutely full of Fair Isle knitting in it. It's like Walser Fair Isle through the decades, and that's how they have it arranged. It's like in chronological order, and this is just a little. It's not got a lot of detail or anything, but it just kind of goes through decades with a couple of pictures about, with a little bit kind of telling you who made it or anything, or there was like a special story about it. So it's just like a nice thing to have, kind of as an example of that exhibition, because it is so good. And I did like, there was they kind of got a thing because they do a lot with kind of young people knitting, and it's got a couple of pages about that, and then it's got a little craft house hat that one of the younger ones made, so I thought that was good. So yeah, I know we're getting ones at Jimson Smith, so we will sell it online when we have it. And the next thing is something which I was minorly involved in, and it's this wool journey, and it's printed by Pom Pom magazine people, but it's Wool Journey Patterns of Places, a knitter's travel guide, and this is for Shetland obviously. So it was done by Amber and Jamie, who have Fancy Tiger in Denver in America, and Malia, who has Stephen and Penelope and Stephen West. That's the four patterns. It kind of has, like history, like kind of travel, just like information about, for visitors like coming to Shetland. And then it's got about four or five patterns, and it's just got really nice. And I wrote the foreword. They asked me, because I was actually, it's about a trip when they came here about 4 years ago or something, and yeah, 2013. so 13, 14, 15, 16, yeah, 4 years ago. And I was working at Jimson Smith then, and I was working when they came in that day. So it was quite funny because I can remember them coming in, so that's what I say in my foreword, that I can remember that. And yeah, so I just wrote a little, not even half a page, but they sent me a copy. And yeah, I think it's cute. It's good for if you're coming to Shetland and that's what knitting is, what you're interested in. Then it just kind of gives you a little bit. And I love they have this illustration of Oliver that I work with. I think it's so good. And yeah, the pictures are just nice, and it's just, I mean, it's small, and it's kind of like, it's just like if you've ever had a Pom Pom magazine, that's what it feels like. And yeah, it's £12.50, and you can probably, I would think you'd be able to order it from Pom Pom. And another book I got ages ago, which isn't really to do with knitting, but I think it works for knitting, is this Colour Confidence Stitching, which is by Karen Barbie. I think she's, I feel like she's from Chile, or anyway, she, yeah, she's done this book, and what it's really, she does embroidery is what she does, and if you've ever looked at her blog, she has like, she does amazing kind of still lifes and things within her blog posts. But it's really about putting colours together, and the kind of roles of colour, creating a colour palette using colour theory. And it goes into all that kind of stuff, which is not like, you wouldn't sit and kind of read this from beginning to end, but it just kind of gives you ideas. Like, and then she has this palette stuff, which is kind of like an image, and then you take it and you choose your colours and how you're going to put, and it's just good for if you're doing Fair Isle knitting. It has like projects and stuff in it as well, which is good, but it's yeah, it's just really good thing to have, and especially because this is someone who their use of colour I think is so good in a lot of things that she does. Then it kind of gives you like colour cards and stuff, how you could make your own and wind it. So yeah, and then things about light colours and dark colours and bright colours, and so I think it's really good. It's just, I remember, I think she had on her blog that you could, okay, that it was going to be out ages away, and I pre-ordered it on Amazon, and I kind of forgotten about it when it came. But I think it's just a good one for the old library, you know. And I've one which again I got a pretty start to go, but it's another Japanese book, which I must have seen it on Yes Asia is where I buy my Japanese knitting books, which I tried to not buy too many, but it's just another really good book. And again, I mean, I'm not sure when they were here to do it. I think there's a lot of photos I recognise from an earlier book, so I don't know if some of that is from them, but it's just got a lot of Shetland motifs, but which isn't special in itself, because there's a lot, you can get a lot of different books with the Shetland motifs in it, but every one has it charted out and then knitted up, which I think makes such a huge difference for seeing how colours, and then they've listed like the colours that they've used in either like Jimson Smith or Jamison's, or there's like another one they use as well, another kind of yarn, which I'm not sure what it is, but it's the swatches that's done in that looks totally different than the ones that's done in pure wool, so I'm not sure. But even if, I mean, this kind of thing especially, I don't use it for like copying the motif or anything, but it's so good for seeing how colours go together, and the way they photograph everything. Like, this is that vest that's in the museum, and like they've charted it out and kind of done little samples, and it's just like, it's just good. There's just so, the way they do it is just so well done. And then at the end it does have a kind of stitch dictionary thing, which you see, which there's lots of kind of versions of this kind of thing, but having it all together. But it's done by this Miro press, which do a lot of the kind of traditional books about, Japanese books about knitting. But yeah, so that's Knitting Patterns of Shetland. So that's a good one. And I thought I would talk about something which I've gotten kind of back into using, which I bought, I think, when I was at college, maybe. I studied textiles at college here, and I can't remember where I saw it, but it's this Fashionary, and it's like a notebook, which it's aimed like at really fashion designers and fashion drawers, that kind of thing. But it's got loads of information about measurements, standard measurements, like how the way cuffs are, necklines, all that kind of thing. Even just helps you for giving like the name of a neckline. Sometimes you think it doesn't, but what's really good about it is it has these pages which you're not going to be able to see it at all, and when you hold it up it just looks like you've done these fashion drawings, but it's like an outline of a woman. You can get men's ones as well and then you can just draw over it. And what I'm trying to use it for is either planned designs, or like this page is like got those two the two jumpers that I've released, and it just kind of helps you for planning things out. And you can buy them online. They come from Hong Kong, but like I've just gotten today, which came in the post, that I ordered last week, I think. It's only taken a week to get. And this is one that's exactly the same, but it's for hat designers, like hat makers. And the thing is exactly the same. It's got heads, but so I thought it would be good for designing like knitted hats as well. And you can also get I got these, which is like tiny little notebooks with the same, it's got the same like women's outline thing that you could draw, but then it's perforated. Yeah, perforated. So you could rip it out and put it in like your knitting notebook or whatever, because sometimes it can feel quite precious, like for the one that you have in the actual notebook to be like a good drawing and everything. So you could there's like, you get 3 in a pack, and they were, I can't even remember how much they were, not very much. And then you could kind of refine it in here and then rip it out and draw another one in there. And then I also got, this is like flat cards, and it's rather than like the outline of the body ones. I think they're just really handy to have for design and stuff, but not even for design and stuff, just if you are for keeping track of things that you're knitting. If you knit a lot of garments for yourself, and you could draw it, have what yarn you use, needles you use, all that kind of stuff, if you were like a really organised person, which I wish that I was, but I am not. But buying these kind of things is me trying to make myself be organised, but we shall see. Yeah, and then I had just a couple of things I was going to tell you about. So, not last week, but the week before, I was away with work at Woolfest, which was in Cockermouth. So me and Caris that I work with went down and sold lots of Shetland wool from Jameson & Smith, so it was really good. But it was so busy, we were so busy that we really hardly got around to look at that many things. So I didn't buy any wool. Now, I have never been, my very limited sheltered life, I have never been to a yarn festival or a wool festival thing and not bought any wool. So this, I think, is progress on the personal front, in my opinion. But yeah, so I didn't get any yarn, so that was disappointing. But I got a couple of things But it was really just because we were so busy. Like if I had like a lot of time to go around, I bet I could have found something. But there was a couple of stalls which had like vintagey things, which you know I'm into. And there was one which had blankets and stuff, which again I wish I'd gone back, but anyway. This other one had, and I bought this little vintage knitting bag, which I love these kind. I have quite a few of them, and it's so good. Like the pattern on the fabric, I just thought was delightful. So I got that, and one thing of 6.5mm vintage knitting needles, because I love that kind of thing. And then I also bought this big project bag thing from Hilltop Cloud, which is one of our, they buy comb tops from us at work. I just thought it was cute because it's got like a heart and sheep and stuff on it. So yeah, that was all. And I also bought a little pair of scissors, which I think in here. Bear with me, yes. A little pair of vintage scissors, which are like a bird. I thought they were cute. And yeah, so another thing I've kind of been getting into is so I have like quite a few of these bags which I got from Woolen Flower, and trying to kind of organise all my stuff. I've decided like this one is my kind of knitting bag every day. All my things I use the most in it. All my tape measures and scissors and needle gauges and all that kind of stuff. I'm keeping them all together, and I keep buying those like pin things. So what I decided was I would start putting all my pins on this bag. And I'm then not even really trying, just like looking around all the other things, all the ones I already had. I've managed to kind of fill it up quite well already. And I love this. This is my Dolly Parton one. But I have ones from Felicity Ford and Anna Maltz and Labia and Amy and Brooklyn Tweed, and yeah, it's just. And this is like this one with the lamb is like a vintage Shetland one, which I got off eBay. And I'm so bad for losing, like I buy all these little things and then lose them, so I'm going to try. I don't think I'm going to try and cover the front because I think that would be overkill, but what I did buy, which I'll probably start putting pins on as well, which came yesterday, is this field bag, which is the Fringe Supply Company one. And I've kind of been like thinking about getting one for ages. But I went out last week. Gudrun Johnson and Mary Jane had one of their tour groups, and it was a lot of designers, and I went out to see them to show them some of my knitwear stuff one night, and so many of them had one of these bags, and I was like, yes, I do need one. I need one. So they're big, and they've got nice gaps with holes and stuff, so you could thread yarn through, and I mean they're not cheap, but I'm hoping this will be my kind of go-to knitting bag, even though I have so very many of them, but never mind. So yeah, that's a kind of brief update of things I've been making and enjoying and enabling for you. So yes, I hope you enjoyed, and I'll be back again soon. Okay, bye!